Hello, hello! David Snowpeck here from Snowpeck Games! Welcome to the stream. I'm riding over my headphone cord. That's no good. Friday! Welcome to Friday. How's everyone doing? How have your projects been going, your game dev journeys? Anyone have any cool plans for the weekend? For my part, I've been mostly just working on GDExtension stuff and playing No Man's Sky. I love No Man's Sky. Been playing lots of that in VR. And yeah, this weekend I'm gonna go see some movies. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna go see the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and the John Wick movie, which I'm sure the John Wick movie is like not good, but I'm sure I'm gonna love it. A big ballet of gratuitous action violence. Hey, Ricardo, welcome to the stream. Oh, I should have said hi to Micah as well, who I already saw in the chat earlier. Ricardo's rocking a monk with essentially my hairdo, just the hair on the sides over there. I saw Micah's character was had the Hulk Hogan stash and a big weapon. Micah says, school's been keeping me very busy, but has been inspiring me to get back into a project I've been working on for the longest time. What is the project? What's the project you've been working on for the longest time? I'm curious about that. Yeah, there's his character. Yeah. So, while I wait to hear from you wonderful people about how you've been doing, I can review a little bit what has been going on since the last stream. So, if you remember last time we were working on adding some automated tests to Godot CPP, which is the C++ binding for GDExtension, because in general, there's this tendency to fix issues in GDExtension and then later regress those fixes and bring bugs back, just because it's so complicated. GDExtension is really complicated. There's a lot of little details all over the place. And so the goal is if we can start representing some of the important things we need to always work in some automated tests, then when people make PRs to fix things or add new features or whatever, the test will tell us, is it regressing or not, at least after we get the tests developed a little bit and have a bunch of stuff in there. But so we had started working on such tests on last stream, and then I kept working on it afterwards. There's now a PR adding the tests to Godot CPP. It is out of draft. It is ready for review. I hope it can get merged sometime next week. Not a lot of stuff has been getting merged because Remy and Yuri, who are the two like primary mergers of the Godot project, are out. I think Yuri's going to continue to be out for a while, but Remy should be back next week, and hopefully we can get some of this stuff merged. But it's looking pretty awesome. So here's the screen from GitHub Actions where it actually runs the tests. What it's doing, because this is the Godot CPP repo, and I don't want to have to build Godot every time we do a PR for Godot CPP, is it is downloading the latest build of Godot from Godot's GitHub Actions on the master branch. I can show you the code for that. I am not super experienced with GitHub Actions. As you guys probably know, like I'm really into GitLab. I have all those tutorials on my YouTube channel about using GitLab with Godot and GitLab CI. But I have done a bit of stuff with GitHub Actions. It's an interesting little system, different than how I would have built it. But it is interesting, like the way it sort of has like these steps that are plugins. Anyway, there is this action download artifact step, which I had to fix a bug in, which is why we're using it from my fork. And then we can say we want to grab from the Godot repo, from the master branch, from pushes, from this particular workflow, the YAML file that does it, and then this artifact. We download that and then use it to actually run the tests. It was pretty cool. Otherwise, I've been working primarily on this guy. I don't know if we ever worked on this one on stream, but it's a huge change that will hopefully allow us to retain compatibility going forward in future versions of Godot. It's going to totally break compatibility between 4.0 and 4.1, or not break, I guess. I mean, okay. Technically, it does break compatibility, but it will do it in a very nice way with a nice little error message telling you that things are not working rather than just like crashing or something. But we need a way to be able to extend this like low-level GDExtension interface. And the last step here is writing just like a ton of documentation. So the GDExtension interface is just like a whole mess of functions, just a mess of them. Like, I don't know, probably like 100 or nearly there. It's a lot of functions. Maybe less than 100, maybe 70. I don't know. Maybe I should count them and stop making up numbers. But yeah, I'm going to be spending probably the next week filling in the documentation for all of these, which we are not going to do on stream. Don't worry. It's a very boring task, and I would not subject you guys to it. I will subject myself to it in my free time. But yeah, that's going to be a big deal. For today, though, what I was thinking we could work on is there is, well, two things. Two things I would like to possibly work on this stream, because like I said in the description, we are going to be hacking on GDExtension itself, trying to improve GDExtension in whatever little ways that one little human named David can. But there's so much work and so many things going on, like... yeah, I will only be able to help move things forward a little bit, but we're moving things forward, which is good. So the two things I want to work on is reviewing this PR, add handling of custom visual shader nodes from GDExtension. So I guess the idea is people want to be able to make GDExtensions that add visual shader nodes, so you can have downloadable libraries of nodes that you can use. And it looks like this is basically ready to go. Yesterday, Clayjohn pinged me as well as Toolman to take one last look at it. So we are going to review that on stream, which will be interesting. I really haven't looked at this one at all. I'm actually not familiar very much with visual shaders. When I do shaders, I don't do a lot of shader stuff. That's just not my area. But I tend to do them in the script, like writing the GLSL code. But yeah, so we'll review this. And then the other thing I want to work on, which I did not bring up in advance, I will have to track this down. It is, the author is Xylon, and we're actually not going to work on his PR, but we're going to be making an alternative to his PR. Or at least figuring out how we would do that, because you can only do so much. And it's a 2-hour stream, right? So we're going to spend a little bit reviewing the one and then start on the other. And coding takes time. Coding is slow. I wish it wasn't. I wish it was instantaneous. I wish I could tell our AI overlords to just do the work for me, but I can't. So what is this one? This is editor plugins. This one. So yeah, this issue, Xylon was trying to address the fact that presently, from a GDExtension, you cannot add editor plugins, which is critical for many GDExtensions, such as Xylon's really awesome voxel, I guess, module for Godot, but he's trying to make it into a GDExtension in Godot 4. And also my SG Physics 2D, the deterministic 2D physics engine that I maintain mostly for use with rollback netcode. We need to be able to add editor plugins to be able to edit the things that our GDExtensions add to Godot, right? Ooh, Micah is doing some awesome Arduino stuff, using an Arduino to control relays connected to lights and other things in our shed. I had this idea for a refactor of the project, but I felt discouraged for the longest time by the scope of the refactor, as everything was a mess of functions, hard-coded, blah, blah, blah. I started switching to using OOP. Can you do OOP stuff in Arduino? After learning about it in school for the last year, I made a feature complete before, but things are still hard-coded, not adaptable. But a complete refactor and a whole new Git repo with tests. Tests are good. CI, also good, with all I've learned over the past bunch of years. Ace Gyak, welcome to the stream! Yeah, I restream to a whole bunch of places, like 6 places. But thanks for coming to the stream, and yeah, feel happy to watch on any of the platforms. I don't care, it's fine. So anyway, Micah, that sounds awesome. I haven't done that much Arduino stuff. I have a little Arduino that I was using to assist in what's that guy's name? who's the guy who makes like the little hardware breadboard computer projects? I can't remember his name right now, but I did a couple of his projects with the 6502, and that was super fun, and used an Arduino to like read data off of our little breadboard computer and debug stuff. And then also this little Aegon Light. It's like a modern retro computer with a Z80 processor in it, because you may see a pattern here that I like retro processors. But yeah, its video card is basically an Arduino, and I messed around a little bit in extending how that works. But yeah, is there a way to do OOP on Arduino? Because like it uses its sort of C-like language, and I mean, of course, you don't need OOP. You can do C-style stuff where you just have some structs and some functions that go with them. That's totally fine. But I'm just curious because like I haven't done that much Arduino stuff. I didn't know if that was a possibility. But yeah, that sounds like a really cool project. I'm excited to hear how it goes. Keep us up to date. Oh, and I didn't look at what Ace Gyak. How do you say your name? It looks like Ace Gyak to me. But your character, you got a pretty normal dude, and looks like an NPC shopkeeper going there. All right. So Xylon was working on this PR. He chose to try and kill two birds with one stone, as the saying goes. I don't really like that saying. I don't want to kill birds. I'm a vegetarian. I don't kill things. We will. What's another good saying for a non-violent version of kill two birds? You can feed two birds from the same bird feeder. I don't know, but he was trying to solve two problems at once, which is this allowing GDExtensions to add editor plugins, and also there is a limitation in Godot add-ons. So these can be add-ons built in GDScript or C# or whatever, but not GDExtension, like normal script stuff, where you can only add one editor plugin per add-on, which is super limiting. It basically means you have to pack everything into a single plugin, which can work in some situations, but in others where you're doing like a plugin that's only activated when like certain nodes are selected or whatever, it's just super clumsy. And anyway, so he had this idea, which I think I kind of like. I think it's clever. I think it's a clever idea, but where you would list, where's a good way to show it? So in the plugin.cfg, you like list a set of plugins that you want added by their class name or file name, and this would allow specifying both multiple plugins for an add-on, but also provide an avenue by which GDExtensions could add editor plugins, by I guess also making an add-on. It's a clever solution. However, when the GDExtension team reviewed it at the time, they didn't like it. They thought that there should be one solution for the add-ons having multiple editor plugins, and that this PR was fine for that purpose, but they wanted a solution that was closer to what you do to register editor plugins in a normal Godot module for the GDExtension case. Hey, Adrian, welcome to the stream. It's been a while since you've been on stream, or at least since you said anything on stream. Welcome. You got another monk-looking character. You and Ricardo can start a monastery. Feed two birds with one scone. Okay, I love that. I will use that from now on till the day I die. That is my new saying, Ace Gyak. Thank you. You have changed my life. Micah says, the Python web server is switching over to OOP. I'll have to refactor the Arduino code so you can configure its inputs and outputs from a settings page on the website. Ah, okay. So then the OOP reference was more for the web server end than the Arduino end. Cool. Yeah, oh man, life is amazing, mostly. And there's so many cool things I would love to do and to work on and to create, and there's just not enough time. I want to do 1,000 Arduino projects and play with my Z80 thing and mess with my 3D printer, and Oh man, just no time. You are absolutely right. Thaddeus Cruz, welcome to the stream. What kind of character did you get? Ooh, you are ready to go into battle, Thaddeus. By the way, Thaddeus is an amazing name. Also, the Polish equivalent Tadeusz, also an amazing name. That whole branch of names, whatever the original is beautiful. They didn't like the idea. Did the team change their mind, or is it something making you revisit this? So the team did not like using the two solutions for the one thing. They liked this solution for solving the add-on problem, but not for solving the GDExtension problem. And I understand that too. The goal of GDExtension, the high-level goal, is to make it so that writing a Godot module, which is a thing that gets compiled into Godot. Godot is primarily internally composed of Godot modules. So make writing a Godot module and writing a GDExtension to make the code look basically the same. With some differences here and there. It's not exactly the same, but the goal is to try and merge those two experiences so that writing a Godot module and writing a GDExtension is roughly the same, and you could throw in some if-defs and some preprocessor stuff and have the same code base work both as a GDExtension and as a Godot module. The way that you register editor plugins in a Godot module is totally different than what Xylon was proposing. And it sounds like the GDExtension team wants something closer to what you do in a Godot module. So I understand both viewpoints. Like, Xylon's solution is very clever. It already exists. We could just merge it and like, hey, we'd have it. But I understand that it kind of goes against the sort of high-level spiritual idea for how we want GDExtension to work. Didn't expect to see Nick All-Star Slap City guy here. Who is the Nick All-Star Slap City guy? What am I missing? All right. Is that Mr. Cruz here? Mr. Thaddeus Cruz? All right. Let's get down to work here. So the first thing I wanted to check out was reviewing this PR. Oh, cool. But like, what is that? Is that a game? Is this a game that you made? Are you a dude who made a game? What is Nick All-Stars Slap City? Are these... I think I need to spend more time watching Twitch and Nickelodeon All-Stars and Slap City. Cool. Okay, so these are games. And are you the maker of these games? Are you a famous player of these games? Who are you, my friend? Introduce yourself. Tell the class. All right. So we're going to work on two things. We're going to review this PR. QB Shea, who is like one of the community leaders with regard to VFX, really wants this one merged. And Clayjohn, who is one of the rendering Godot maintainers and does a million other things in the Godot community, pinged me to check it out. So we are going to do that. We're going to check it out. We're going to see how it works. So Mr. Chaosis over here gave some instructions for how to test this. So this looks like the Godot... Or these are the Godot changes or the Godot CPP changes? Download Godot CPP. This version is updated to... And then this is a Godot commit. Okay, so this is the commit. I just want to look at this URL. I don't want to download the zip file. Let's copy the address. We'll put it up here. We're going to get the commit hash out of here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get Godot on the right commit. We need to get Godot CPP on the right commit, and then we're going to start compiling them. And while they're compiling, we are going to read through the code and review it. See if there's anything weird looking in there. We will test it once it is finished compiling, and then we will git fetch upstream. May have to spend more than 2 seconds to figure out where this is coming from. Was that a commit on this person's fork? This version is updated to this. Compile it with this command. Are we compiling Godot CPP or are we compiling? Okay, so here is the test project. Folder on this. Compile Godot with this hash. I'm just confused as to where this Godot CPP is coming from. I guess let's just download this. I would prefer to be working from the Git repo rather than downloading random zip files. The commit from this PR, okay, that's easy enough. We'll get the commit for this PR. We won't necessarily pull that one in case there's some later ones. So this PR is 70911. So let's jump over to the Godot source code. We're going to git pull upstream. Hang on. We'll do git fetch upstream. Just do git fetch upstream, and then we'll switch over to this particular PR. Git checkout PR, this guy. Okay, so now we're on this PR. Let's get this started compiling. And then let's figure out what the heck the Godot CPP version we need is. Does this have a Git repo in it? Then we can determine, well, it's like already built and stuff. Okay, let me read slightly longer on this thing. You copied the ID of the attachment instead of the commit hash. Oh, adjusting properties in my multiplayer synchronizer spawn update, but I'm only not sure how to trust it. Adjusting properties in multiplayer synchronizer to spawn update, but only not sure how to trust it. Did I miss something, Askiak? I'm not sure. So you're working on a multiplayer thing with multiplayer synchronizer and having some issue? I haven't actually used multiplayer synchronizer all that much on a couple of demo projects, so I'm also not super familiar with it. Mr. Thaddeus says, I work for Ludosity, the development team behind Slap City and Nick All-Star Brawl. Both games are platform fighters, and I'm a huge fan of the genre. I inadvertently became the face of, I guess that would be Nick All-Star Brawlers and Ludosity. Interesting, cool. I have not played either of those games, I'm sorry to say, but I do enjoy platform fighters. I made a Godot demo platform fighter thing to teach multiplayer with the Nakama server backend. Fish game. That was a fun one to make. I enjoy playing them. Also, like my daughters and I play. What's the one with the spiders? It's just a multiplayer brawler with spiders. I can't remember the name right now. You are the most charismatic frontman. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there are some issues with network performance in the multiplayer synchronizer. Not to get too distracted here, but have you seen Fabio's PR? I also have another question for Thaddeus that came to my mind, but then I got distracted by the other things. So you work on these games, right? But I'm assuming not in the Godot game engine. Are you doing the Godot game engine for like your personal stuff, or is your company looking at the Godot game engine? I'm just curious about how the Godot enters the picture. I was going to look up this. See, this is my ADD coming in here. I was going to look up this thing, this PR that Fabio made, which is supposed to help improve the performance of the multiplayer synchronizer. This one. So I think the idea is to avoid sending data that hasn't changed, to reduce the amount of data sent over the network for the multiplayer synchronizer. So yeah, this is likely to get merged soonish. If you want to check it out in advance, I'd highly recommend it. This is, here, I'll throw this in the chat. Awesome! It's good to randomly talk about what you're working on, because sometimes someone might randomly have a solution or an idea or something. All right, where was I? So Ricardo pointed out that I grabbed the wrong ID. And I'm going to try to get back on track, try to get undistracted here. At least for a couple of minutes. We'll try to focus for a couple of minutes at a time. So we were not working on Xylon's thing. We were working on a issue that I've totally lost. All right, let's find it again. Issues mentioning you. And this is handling of custom visual shader nodes. Okay. I just wanted, is there a link to the companion PR for Godot CPP? Extension code needs to be placed in order to compile. Test project without extension code. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to download the test project and compile with Godot at this version and run the attached project. Okay, we're going to download this. We're just going to try using the latest Godot CPP and see what happens. Because I don't understand the reference here. This is updated to a commit hash, but then it's a commit hash on Godot and not on Godot CPP. So we're gonna grab all these projects. We're gonna use master of Godot CPP. All right, and the word on the street was to extract this in the Godot CPP directory, and then we'll extract this one somewhere else. Oh, and it looks like Godot finished compiling. That is fabulous. So it was, what was it called? It was called test_vs. All right, that's not good. I should have looked at that before I tried to extract it. All right, we're going to make a directory for it to go in, and then we're going to extract it. I'll throw the -a on there. All right, and let's do a scons-c. Just so we don't have any weird interference if scons chooses not to rebuild something that it's supposed to. Go over to test vs. And we'll do scons here. There were some specific arguments, but like these are template release. Well, the default is template debug, which I'm going to roll with because then I'll be able to see it in the editor, and I think that is what I want, unless there's something specific in the project. Hang on. Let's look at this test vs GDExtension. It's pointing to Windows stuff. Okay. Let's get rid of this. We're not on Windows. We don't do Windows. We do doors. No, that was a weird joke. So Linux, or it should be, is it Linux BSD or is it just Linux? Okay, let's go look at an example really quick. We'll look at the tests. The normal tests. Here we go. Demo project, example GDExtension. So okay, just Linux debug. Okay. And we really only want this one. That'll do it for us. And we need to change the name because this can be Linux BSD and not DLL. Oh geez, my copy and paste is going to get me in trouble here. I should have just typed the whole line new. All right, does this look right? Linux debug x86-64. It is going to be Linux BSD dot template debug dot x86-64 so. Okay. And let's get this building, and then I will go see what everyone has been saying in chat, which is hopefully not complaining that I'm an idiot and doing everything wrong, because I've been ignoring chat, not because I don't want to see what you guys have to say, but because my ability to focus once I know what you have said is basically zero. I cannot focus once I know what you have said, and I will need to respond. All right, so why did that appear not to build anything? All right, now it's rebuilding everything in Godot CPP2. I probably shouldn't have cleaned it, but I just want to make sure that it's rebuilding the stuff that is actually in this test. Let's take a look at the test, actually. Let's take a quick peek at the test. Actually, no, I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to do what I said and look here. Thaddeus says, frankly, I'm interested in Godot mostly because Unity keeps pissing me off. My not emotionally charged reasoning is that supporting an open source tool gives me much gratification. Yeah, yeah, I'm like an open source guy all through and through, so I've never actually used Unity. I'm just rocking, you know, because there's the Linux over here and whatnot. But that's a really interesting perspective. When we were at GDC, we talked to a lot of people who had a similar sentiment, just like, well, you know, Unity's being crazy and switching to Unreal's just, you know, switching to another company that could maybe do crazy things. Let's see what this open source thing is about. So that's cool. Oh, someone new jumped on. Psu! Welcome to the stream. You got the sailor hat. Awesome. And need a Pomodoro timer when streaming. That actually would be interesting. It could like tell me when I'm allowed to look at the comments. When using the terminal lower third. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, Ricardo. You're absolutely right because I have the strip down there. I need to come up with a solution for that. Maybe I'll do the terminal in the big window over here. We can make it look huge and type like that. That might be a better way to do the terminal so you guys can more easily read it. Thanks for pointing that out. I was going to say, we can't see the actual terminal line. I wish the Godot codebase had more comments. At least doc strings would be nice. Yeah, so I'm used to codebases where like Doxygen style comments are used to tell what all the functions do, and it does take a little bit getting used to that Godot doesn't do that at all. There is quite a bit of documentation in the XML that gets built for the doc site, but when you're dealing with internals, like none of that stuff ends up in the XML for the doc site. But you get used to the sort of Godot-ish way the source code looks. But I know what you mean. Yeah. More Godot submissions than Unity submissions last Umandare. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, not more by a lot. And of course, jams have kind of always favored engines like Godot and GameMaker and kind of the smaller, quicker things than like the heavier things, which Unity isn't that heavy, but like Unreal isn't super common in jams because it's sort of on the heavier end. But yeah, that's cool. It's cool. It's a nice thing to look at and feel warm and fuzzy about. All right, so I built this extension. It seems to have compiled fine, which hopefully means it's going to work. And let's take a peek at what the code actually has in this extension. That will give us an idea of how this is meant to work, the support that's being added here. So I'm just going to look at the register type CPP. We'll, expand our window here. So the normal entry point, register some stuff. Okay, cool. We're registering exactly one class and doing nothing else. So that's pretty basic. Let's go look at that class. It is Visual Shader Noise, node noise. Interesting that so many functions have to be overridden. I've never really worked in the Visual Shader code, so I'm just going to assume that's normal for a Visual Shader that you have to override that many functions for something good to happen. Let's go see what they do. We set a name, a category, description, icon type, the number of input ports, input port type. Well, that's interesting. That's an interesting way to register those. Import port name. Yeah, I'm going to assume this is just like the way that visual shaders work. Get global code. Okay, so this must be the GLSL code that gets injected when you use this visual shader. Node. Does some Perlin noise. Cool. some defaults. Doesn't need to bind anything, I guess, because it's all overridden virtual methods. All right, cool. I'm a little surprised there isn't like a registration step that we just add the class and magically the visual shader node is like the visual shader system is going to know that the node is there. But we'll take a look at that in a moment when we're looking at the PR. And yeah, what's next? Let's actually try and run this, and then we'll take a look at the actual code and put our review. So there was a test project that we needed to open. I will go and do that here. Games. I'll use my MRPs directory where I put like little test projects, or where I've started putting little test projects. I got sick of going to the directory where I keep my game projects and having like 50 that aren't real projects that I'm working on. They're just like things that like test projects that I made for, you know, PRs or features or whatever that I'm working on in Godot. So I'm starting to segregate them over here. We will look at the code before I extract it, because there's a very Windowsy thing going on here where there is no directory containing the file. So this will be, we'll say vs GDExtension test, we'll call it, unzip -a project, no, DL, it's in DL. All right, we're going to need to get rid of this Windows junk. We'll just remove the whole bin directory, and we're going to copy from where we are working on this, which is in default, Godot CPP, test vs bin. All right, let's just look at that, make sure it looks good. We'll clear this so that we're back at the top. Hey Ruben, welcome to the stream. What kind of character did you get? Oh, you're an orc with a sweet stash. I love it. And let's launch the Godot we just compiled, which contains the PR we are reviewing. We want this one. We'll launch it with the editor. We're running a debug build, which is why the startup time is so slow. Regular Godot users would know the startup time is never this sluggish. Okay, so it was unable to load the GDExtension. Why is that? No GDExtension library found for the current OS, no configuration file. Okay, I must have messed something up in the .GDExtension. Oh, you know what? I edited the version that was not here. That we're now in the test project, which has a different version of this file. So I bet we just have to edit it twice. Test vs GDExtension. Yep. Okay. So we'll copy. We did in the actual like GDExtension itself's code folder. We edited that guy. So let's grab it from Godot CPP. And it was test vs GDExtension copied here. We'll take a quick peek at it. And that looks good. We already closed the editor we were running. So let's run it again. Oh, not that one. Sorry, wrong one. We need to run the Godot we compiled, which, let's look for Godot-4. That's the one. Cortax, welcome to the stream. Where's your character? Where are you at? Whoa. You got a jester with what looks like another sweet stash. Ruben, you in real life, you're a bald orc with a sweet stash? That's awesome. I guess I'm almost there. I just need to be a little greener and a little balder. But yeah, all right. So we got an empty load errors window. That's weird. Can't open dynamic library, blah, error, cannot open shared object. Did we do a weird directory for it? I'm moving too fast here is what I'm doing. The thing that happens to me on stream, I get excited, I move too quickly. Let's take a look here. Res bin test vs template debug blah 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 blah. Can't open dynamic library. This guy, this is our actual library. Error. What is with this lib thing? Where does that happen? What is that about? Let's clear this. We'll go into the bin directory. We'll do LDD to look at what. Oh, I bet it's this lib. I forgot to put a lib in front of it. And just want to make sure this isn't pointing to some weird other object. Okay, here we go. I have slowed down. I've found my zen. Too much tea. We will make this be the actual file name. We can also test this. Grab the name, and then you won't see this because it's the bottom of the screen, but I'm going to type ls to make sure. No, it still typed it wrong. Okay, let's do ls bin. We'll just copy and paste here. We'll copy and paste the actual name of the actual file. Nope, that was wrong. This buffer. All right. Now, let's ls this again. Make sure we have the right thing. Oh, no. I'll copy it this way. Too many ways to copy and paste things. And there it is. Okay. Let's launch Godot for the bajillionth time here. It hasn't said it wasn't able to load it. Oh, and there we go. There's our Perlin noise. Let's see if we can edit this shader. We have to find where the material is. Doesn't look like they put it into an external file, which is what you would do on a real project. You'd put it in an external file. I'm assuming it's going to be just inline in this mesh here. There we go. All right. And noise. Is this the custom one? UV offset scale result. Let's go look at the code. Just make sure that looks about right to what this custom visual shader node. So its name is noise. Category, my shader nodes. I guess we can add a shader node and see it my How do the categories work in this thing? I do not use visual shaders ever. How should I be finding this in this list, guys? Should we not have seen a category called My Shader Nodes and had this noise one listed? Special? What's going on in chat? Definitely improved network performance by switching the bulk of probably only update on spawn, but I appear to have misplaced some frames sometime in the last couple of weeks. Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that's working. You should comment on Fabio's PR that you've tested it. Or is this with his PR, or you're doing it some other way? Just the only update on spawn? That I think that might be a normal thing. But you should test out Fabio's PR with the being able to check that they watch or not watch. Vim noob, how long did it take you to get used to buffers and such in Vim? Still haven't touched them or understand how to use them. So Vim has been my primary, it's actually not my primary text editor anymore, but it was my primary text editor from sometime in the 90s through to just a couple years ago. Or maybe just a year ago, where I switched to primarily using VS Code now with Vim mode, with the Vim extension. But Vim was my primary text editor for a very, very long time. I don't remember how long it took me because I did it in the 90s. And who remembers the 90s? This is such a crazy time. No, it was just a long time ago. I think I just very gradually learned Vim. And I have a book somewhere. Is it on my shelf? I don't see it on my shelf, but I got a book a long, long time ago too with like Vim tips and stuff. And I would like slowly pick things up out of there. Must be new. Is this something like shader graph in Unity? Yes, it is like shader graph. Well, actually, so I've never used Unity, but I mean, this is a shader graph. This is one instance of a shader graph. I would compare it personally more to like the Blender shader graph because that's the one I know, but I'm sure that it's similar to Unity's one. But yeah, you don't have to use it. You can write shaders in like Godot's sort of variant of GLSL as well. Okay, so what am I missing about being able to add nodes here? I feel like the node should be here, and I don't know why it isn't. Oh, okay, so you're still not working with his PR? Yeah, so that's just the normal checkboxes. What do you want on spawner? Anyway, I don't know why I should be able to add this though, right? And there should be a category. Maybe because it used a category that doesn't really exist. I don't really know how the categories are supposed to work here. Let's go look in the Godot source code and look for some other visual shader nodes and steal their categories. Visual shader nodes. Let's look for some categories. Particle nodes. Category. Okay, so the categories are done differently for shader nodes defined in engine, which is weird. I wasn't expecting that. How are they registered then? So there must be some other registration process. Let's look in Godot and see what some of these categories are. Look for a really funnily named one, or funnily named node, and then we're going to grep for it. Cube map parameter. Texture parameter triplanar. One of those. I already forgot what I just said out loud. Cube map parameter in the visual visual shader module. Let's get up to the top of the visual shader module. I have gone way past the top of the visual shader module. Oh my god. Scrolling through Windows problems. Resources. Whatever, we'll just grep the whole project. So I was looking for cube map parameter. So that's the docs, that's a rename. Here's an actual plugin. So this looks like just a UI. Or no, okay, so we're adding. This does just look like UI. So what is this? This is a struct specific to Visual Shader Editor plugin. And so these get registered for in-engine Visual Shader nodes this way. And it looks like this is name, category, Visual Shader node cube map parameter. Is that the name of the what? Of the class, maybe? Name, category, type, description. Oh, I bet this is the name of the class, and then it looks them up in the class DB. I bet that's how this works. Okay, so what if we take like an existing category and we go slap that in here instead? Of course, pasting it this way. Nope, nope. One more try. And then let's rebuild this. And we'll need to copy it like we did before. So we copied the bin directory to here. Okay. Now we got to reload. So don't save. We don't need you to save. And we're going to rerun the Godot editor. And let's see if that shows up because we put it in a category that actually exists. So add node. And we put that into what category did we put it in? Textures variables. Textures variables. It's not there. Either I don't know how this works, or there might actually be a problem in the PR that we're reviewing. I don't see how to add the node. I go to create shader node and I'm just not finding it. Well, we'll look at that in a minute, unless someone's telling me how to do this. Hey, Gulliver Jaham, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so it has been a while since you've come by to the stream. I am working on GDExtension because in order to port my rollback netcode stuff from Godot 3 to Godot 4, we need to bring over SGPhysics 2D, the deterministic 2D physics engine, which we need to get working as a GDExtension. Turns out GDExtension needs a bunch of work, and hence we are now working on improving GDExtension for Godot. But yeah, we're reviewing a PR that someone asked me to help review. And I think we may have found a problem in it. I'm not entirely sure, though. I might just be using this wrong because I'm just not familiar with how visual shaders work. Does anyone see an obvious problem with what I'm doing here to try and find how to add this custom node that got created? Someone who might be maybe more familiar with visual shaders? Because it seems like it should be in here, but I'm not seeing it. Okay, cool. Whew. I'm not going crazy. Thanks, Ace-Gyak. Let's, okay, so we have tested it. When the node is here already, it's working great. But we can't seem to be able to add the node, which is weird. Let's go look at the actual PR and see what's going on. Optional, you can change GDExtension project, recompile it, and put the resulting DLL for Windows in the test bin folder. Please report how you've success with it. I think it should work. Oh, interesting. So over here, PattyEXE, he got it. It's there for him. He's got it under add-ons, my shader nodes, noise. So what am I doing wrong or different? I did cheat a little bit with downloading a specific version of not downloading the specific version of Godot CPP that he pointed out. Well, let's look at the PR. Maybe this will become obvious by the code in the PR why this isn't working for me and what step I missed. Yeah, check the PR and see if I skipped some sort of step. Micah, you are spot on. You came up with the idea before I came up with it. All right, so visual shader, add custom type. So this is probably related to the registration process we were looking at before. Previously, it took just a script. Now it takes a type name and a script. Used to fail if the script was not valid, but now it's okay if one or the other is valid, either the type name or the script. Okay, here's that add option structure we were looking at previously. We are looping over the add options list. Okay, so I think this is looking for duplicates. I think this is saying if we encounter the same thing again, we're not going to add it to the list twice. Get custom node data, use virtual calls. Okay, yeah, so as we noticed when we first started looking at this, there's just a lot of virtual functions, which seems not totally ideal to me, to be honest. I mean, I guess they're only probably called once during the registration process, so that's not that big of a deal. But like having to override all of these virtual functions as a way to set information that otherwise would be set during a registration process seems not ideal. But probably fine in the grand scheme of things. So back to the PR. Some node data. So where is this called from? I'm going to bounce between looking in the editor and the PR. So this is in Visual Shader Editor Plugin CPP, which is actually right where we are. It is around line 1261. Okay. So what I want to know is what calls this? Script created. Interesting. And it's called an update custom script. Okay. What I'm sensing here, having never looked in this code or the system at all, is that there was a pre-existing system for registering GDScript classes as custom visual shader nodes, and now this is adding in the ability to do GDExtension classes. Very frequently, actually, though, in Godot, you're able to set up GDExtension as an extension point and just get GDScript for free, because the same sort of like virtual method, like calling mechanism, kind of works the same. Like if you made a class in engine that was meant to be extended by GDExtension and you called virtual methods the GDExtension way, if you extended that from GDScript or C# or whatever, it would get called through the same mechanism. And I'm not sure why this needs explicit GDScript support, possibly because this is the way it worked before and we can't break compatibility, but it would be kind of nice if this was just all baked into the GDExtension side. So let's just look at this code for a second. So, or no, let's look at the PR just to make sure that I'm thinking about this right. Yes. Okay, so this is the original GDScript code that gets moved down here. And yeah, okay, let's look at it in the editor. It's much easier to look at it in VS Code than in GitHub. Okay, so the GDScript version, we get the global class list from the script server, and then we loop over it, and we check if the base class is Visual Shader Node Custom. If it is, we get the script, and then we create this Visual Shader Node Custom reference. We initialize it, set the script, and then we register that. Cool. Then how does that differ for GDExtension? So we get the whole class list from the class DB. We check if the parent class is Visual Shader Node Custom. How does that not also get these, though? Oh, I suppose not all GDScripts are registered in class DB. That is true. In GDScript, you can put that like class name annotation at the top, and then that registers it as a class in the class DB. But that is optional. It doesn't have to be registered that way. But I do sort of see some weird overlap. Like if you made a GDScript class that extends this, but then also gives a custom class name, I think it would show up again here in the second loop. So anyway, continuing from here, we instantiate that class. We cast it from whatever class type it is into the base class, the Visual Shader Node Custom. We're checking if whatever it works on is available. Did we do that check up here too? Yes, we did. Okay. then we basically do the same thing, except we're putting a null script reference and yeah, adding it. I guess this is fine, assuming we're trying to make this compatible with an existing system. It does feel a little messy though. It would be nice if these things could be collapsed into a single thing instead of two branches. Oh yeah, I could diff the zip file with Godot CPP. Yeah, it probably shouldn't matter. Because at least the way that it looks like this is doing, we'll have to see, like, if this changes what would be like in the extension JSON or whatever the file that Godot emits to like build the Godot CPP bindings. Like if there's no changes there, then it shouldn't matter, at least the way that this is done. Figuring out things you've never seen is a nightmare in programming as a whole. I mean, so I've been doing open source since the 90s, and I'm really used to reading other people's code that I'm not familiar with. I think it's kind of like I don't know, it's a thing you get used to over time. I definitely spend more time reading random other people's code than anything else that I do. Or maybe that's not true. That's probably true when it comes to looking at code. There's a lot of time in programming that I'm not actually looking at code, that I'm like deep in debugging and just like, I don't know, try this, run it again, try this, run it again. But in the time that I'm looking at code, it's mostly reading other people's code, not so much reading my own code. Anyway, okay, so I think I have the shape of how this is supposed to work. It doesn't make any sense that we are not seeing it in that list, at least for the Godot CPP stuff. I think it shouldn't matter, as Ricardo is saying. Why aren't we seeing it? Well, anyway, let's keep looking at the PR. So here is where things are actually getting registered. So we're going through. If views virtual calls is turned on, we call this function, and in this one we say has method call this. I really think that there should be a way to make this work in the same code path. I really, really do. Because I think when you call a GDExtension virtual function, it should, if there's a script attached to that node, like it should automatically do this. Let's see if this is discussed on the PR at all. So this will make add or intercept them from global class space. So for example, blah blah blah, be handled directly from GDExtension model. Oh, and then they're showing the example shader code. Cool. What is this? Oh, so similar thing here. Similar example. Still can't compile it, but I think it's mostly because I have the exact. Otherwise, okay. So then he gives them the instructions. Do this. Okay, let's look at this class that everyone's descending from. This visual shader node custom. And I think that's probably in the same file. Visual shader node custom. Or no, different file, but control click got us there. Okay, and so we have these virtual functions. We have these GD virtuals. And if we go look, so okay, we have get name. We don't have a virtual for that. I'm very confused right now. Where we don't have a normal function for that. Okay, let's look at the code for this. Does it have a bind method? Let's go look at the bind methods. GD virtual bind, get name, blur, blur, blur. I really feel like this should work without having to do all this stuff like checking to see if it's a script. I feel like it should just work. Let's look at the get name, what this macro generates for us. So it generates GD virtual name, blah, blah, blah. If script instance, call it. Otherwise, get extension, and then call it. Yeah, I don't think we should need to do this. I think we should be able to just pass in the actual literal objects without grabbing the scripts off of them. This is going in the review. I will pose it as a question because it's possible there's something I'm just not seeing. But I think this should just work. We'll put the comment maybe here. Maybe the registering part is not being executed at all. Well, so the oh yeah, that's a possibility for like why the node's not appearing in the list, but the node's actually working and is visible. So like it must be registered. It just doesn't seem to want to appear in our list. But let me focus on writing this comment. So how to say this? I think. Yeah, maybe I'll start with an I think assertion here. I think this code could maybe be reduced to just no, not this one. Name for both GDScript and GDExtension. Without needing to explicitly yeah. No, okay. Without the check for p-use virtual calls. The code in visual shader node custom, we'll point out this macro. The get name macro should generate code, or the code generated by the macro should already be checking if the node has a script attached and calling that method on the script. And then is it worth including a snippet? It might be worth including a snippet. Where were we? We were in here. Yeah, I'll include a snippet. Some of this stuff isn't important, like the mutable and all that junk up there, but we'll just keep it as short as we can. It's a snippet from the macro. Snip. I like putting a little comment with snip when I remove code. Okay. Let's preview this. This goes for all the virtual functions called here, unless I'm missing some reason. Unless I'm missing. Maybe not unless I'm missing. That sounds. It's one of the hardest things about open source is writing comments that don't come off wrong, man. So I gotta very carefully pick my wording and how to phrase this that it's like I'm not 100% sure that what I'm saying is right. I could be totally missing something important, but to say that in a way that doesn't make it sound like I'm in fact saying the opposite and trying to be like, well, I don't see what's going on here. You know, how do you set that tone? It's tricky. It's tricky. I think this code could maybe be reduced to just this for both GDescript and GDExtension without checking for unless there is a there's a reason we can't rely on that in this case. All right, we'll start a review. Yes, I'll put the similar comment down here, although there is a case that I think is being covered by this code that, okay, so I think these two chunks, the one for the GDescript classes and the GDExtension classes, could be collapsed mostly into one thing for whenever the GDescript class specifies a class name, uses the class name annotation. But there is a case where it doesn't use the class name annotation, which this would now cover. Unless get global class list always includes only things with class names. Let's check that actually. Because if it does, then this totally can be reduced to just one block of code. So that was script server, I think. In fact, we'll look at GDescript server, which doesn't do very much. What am I missing? This is an editor plugin. No, okay, script server. Oh, not language server. Okay, script. Always finding things is tricky. So what was this code again? It was get global class list. We're going to go back to where we started, and then control click our way to victory. Oh, we've been all over the place. Okay, here we're close enough. Get global class list. Reviewing this is taking much longer than I thought it would, to be honest. I was expecting to come in here and be like, you guys know what you're talking about, and I don't. Go for it. Okay, script server, get global class list. This is looping through global classes. It's pushing one back, doing a custom sort on these global classes. Okay, but what does global classes include? Global script class. I may have to phrase this as a question because I don't know the answer to this. I don't know if the script server's global class list will only include things with class names or not. Or if this will include scripts that don't have a class name registered. Global classes. Use global class. I mean, if some classes are global classes and some aren't, that would lead me to believe that this is just ones with class names. Yeah, if they have a name, if we can remove it by its name and not only by its path. Okay. Okay, so where should we put this? Where should we put this comment? It's good trying not to sound passive-aggressive. A lot of programmers sound egotistical, sometimes even me. So to not sound like this normally, I just go for talking factual to not even have to phrase. I don't know if this should be fixed or if I failed to notice. Yeah, it's tricky. Like communication, just like as a human problem in all occupations is hard. But yeah, it's super hard in programming. It's double extra hard when we have to do all of this in text with people we've never met. As opposed to just like being able to talk to a person and then you can share some of that kind of like emotive energy that doesn't usually come across in text. Okay, so so maybe I'll put it on this one. I think, or I'm not sure, but I think we only I don't know. We could merge. Not sure, but I think you can merge the adding GDScript classes and GDExtension classes. Not sure, but I think we might not need to have this special code here for GDScript classes. Yeah, because don't, I guess, okay. Am I 100% sure that GDScript classes get registered in the class DB? I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but how sure am I? Am I 50% sure? Or let's actually look at the header file first. What I want to look at is the struct that holds class information and just see if it looks like it accommodates script classes as well as class info. Okay, I think this is the struct. Class pointer, GDExtension, constant map, blah blah blah, and num signal property, debug stuff, name exposed is virtual creation func. One way to answer this question would be to look in the GDScript module, the module that adds GDScript to Godot, and search for all of its references to the class DB and see what it might be doing. So here we go. Here's the GDScript module. We're going to find in folder class DB. And there's a lot of references, but what we want to see is the adding and registering references, not all of the queries. They're going to be mostly queries. Okay, well, let's search for register. Nowhere. Class DB add. Nowhere. Okay, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe global script classes are not registered in the class DB. Maybe I'll just ask it as a pure question. Because I don't know. I just plain don't know. Was this the tab we were working in, or was I doing it over here? I think this is the tab we were working in. Yeah, okay, so we'll get rid of this. And I'm going to say, do global script classes get registered in the class DB? In class DB? If so, we could, if so, this section would also be able to register the visual shader node, the visual, or we'll just type it not as a class, we'll say visual shader nodes, the custom visual shader nodes registered, or visual shader nodes from GDScript. In class DB, if so, this section would be able to register the custom visual shader nodes from GDScript too, and we wouldn't need the preceding section. But I don't know if that's the case. All right. Okay. Was there any earlier code that we would want to comment on? So here we have the type name and then also the script. So if they're not in the class DB, or if they are in the class DB, we could probably get rid of this script here as well and just have everything be based on the type name. All the rest of this seems fine. Yeah, okay, this makes sense in a world where we have to differentiate them. Again, I don't know if we need to. This code we definitely need. Yeah, okay, that's my only comments other than I don't know why the category doesn't show up. So that's all my review. That's all my code review. I just need to figure out why this doesn't appear. Category add-ons, my shader nodes, noise. And if I look at, let's look at the actual file that stores this data. So that would be in, I guess, the only scene there is here. Where is our shader? Oh, it is actually in an external file. Okay. Vim node 3D T-res. I did not see that when I was looking earlier. It looked like it was embedded, but it is not. So visual shader node noise. Yeah, it's here. I don't know why it doesn't appear in the list to add. Let's scrutinize that bit of code. So, or actually, let's look at the diff between what was there before and what is there now. So, the categories were added in this bit of code. Oh, interestingly, too, category and subcategory. So the way that we changed the code earlier is just wrong. It shouldn't be textures variables. It should be textures and then variables in this subcategory. Did they override that one? No, they didn't. We can try compiling this again and see if that makes things better. Let's find our copy command. And we'll start over again, relaunch this. Don't save. And now that I see the TRES file, we can just click that one to open it. Say add node. I put it under textures. And it is not here. Unless they have to have a subcategory? That doesn't make any sense though, does it? Let's look at okay, well in any case, it looks like get category gets called, appends that to add-ons, subcategory. Well, it looks like subcategory is only being done on the script version, not on GDExtension. So I guess I didn't need to worry about that being in there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gulliver says sometimes after hours of doing something completely unrelated, suddenly it all come to you. That is absolutely true. I've experienced that as well. Okay. It does seem like the category stuff is wired up here. I mean, we could run it through the debugger and see what's going on there. Why isn't it turning up? Or, I mean, I guess it's getting it right, but then up here, where is it actually using it? I guess that's here. It gets dropped into that. That seems fine. I mean, the node is registered. It exists. Like, if I go to the help, visual shader node noise. No, it's not in here. Why isn't it in here? It appears to be working. There are no errors in loading it. Like, what happens if we delete the GDExtension? Like, let's just remove the bin directory and launch Godot 4. This is the am I actually testing the thing I think I'm testing test. Yeah, okay, it can't load it. Can't get class visual shader node noise. We are on the master branch of Godot CPP. Just make sure I didn't accidentally commit anything in there. Oh, this is the latest. That's what it should look like. I don't know. It's just not appearing for me. Well, this will be my review. So, let me look at the I'll say I always want to say something nice at the top. What should I say? I don't want to say looks great and then have a bunch of code comments because then it seems like I'm being disingenuous. I'll just get straight to the facts. I can't think of a. Okay, so I built okay, I built from source and tested on Linux. Come on, I can type. The test project worked, and I can see the noise node in the visual shader. Test project work. I can see the noise node in the visual shader graph. I can see the visual in the shader graph, and the shader appears to be working. But for some reason, I don't see the node. I don't see the node as an option to add, like Patty shows in his screenshot. I'm really not sure why from the code it looks, I don't see why, I'm not sure why. Should I debug this? Though it has many problems, this is a good addition. I would never start with though it has many problems. That feels, at least not my personal style. But this would be a great addition, I think is a good way to start. Thanks. This would be a great addition. I think that's a good sentiment. This would be great. This is a great feature. Thank you for doing the work. I think it's a good way to start. Okay. I built from source and tested on Linux. The test project worked. I can see the noise node in the shader graph, and the shader appears to be working. However, for some reason, I don't see it as an option. It's an option to add, like shows in a screenshot. I'm really not sure why. Should I just run this in debugger real fast, try and figure out what's going on? We've already put this much time into it. Let's see it through. Okay, to run it in the debugger, I need to make some changes to my launch JSON. We are going to modify this one. We are no longer testing Godot for mobile VR. We are testing MRPs. What did we call it? VS GDExtension test. VS GDExtension test. And the place we want to set a breakpoint is It is this one, add custom type. No, add custom node data. We want to rock out and add custom node data. Add custom node data. That's not here? What? What? Get custom node data. All right, get custom node data. Get custom node data. This one. Let's do it. You did not take me where I wanted to go. What is happening? Oh, because I have a search open down there. All right. Get custom node data. All right, so let's set a breakpoint here, and we will follow it through. Let's run this. My tea has gotten cold. Finish drinking it. What? We should have hit this breakpoint. We should definitely have hit this breakpoint. We don't appear to be running in the... Well, okay, should I not see like a list of threads? Let me just hit pause and see what happens. Okay, here's my list of threads. Is the registration code not running? What if the class merely existing allows the visual shader to work, but the registration process needs to happen for it to appear in the add node thing, and the registration process is not happening? Maybe that's what's going on? So let's follow this up the stack. Get custom node data happens in a couple of places. This is the one where we expect it to happen here. Let's see what happens in this code. We're going to need to start up again because I think this only happens during like initialization. You might be right, Gulliver. You might be right. I dismissed your idea. I shouldn't have dismissed your idea like that. I think you might have gotten it. We'll know in a couple of minutes here. Why did the breakpoint not stop though? Why is the breakpoint not happening? Visual shader editor. Update nodes. So what's calling this update nodes here? Visual shader edit. Oh, does it only happen when we open the visual shader editor, Dealey, the graph thing? Haha! Okay, we have to open the graph. So that kicks off this process, and we are going to loop a lot. It's going to loop over every class in the class DB, which is too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our breakpoint down to here, and where'd my little thinger go? Ugh! What happened? I must have accidentally hit something weird that killed it, or it crashed on its own. I mean, I didn't see... Oh, okay, pay more attention this time, David. David is me. Just so you guys don't think I'm yelling at someone in the audience named David. All right, so we end up here. So we've gotten a class. Let's scrutinize our variables a little bit. Our class list I is number 814. I really wish there was a nice way for me to see the name of it. But here we got an object instance. We've instantiated it. From here, I might be able to get the name. So extension. Oh, whatever. There's only so many things it can be. Let's just follow this through. So we cast it. We need to get past this line here, guys. Why are we still on this one line. All right, let's set that as the next breakpoint. Let us over there. Let us onto that line. Any other line in the future. Debugger, why have you forsaken me? What is happening? We're just stuck here. Let me remove these lines. What just happened? Something weird is going on with the debugger. So I'm using LLDB. We are going to switch away from LLDB back to GDB. I do not know why I have been having so many debugger issues lately. It is very frustrating. So let's try this again. Like, we seem to have completely disconnected from the editor. Like, the editor is still here, but all of the debugging stuff has vanished. All right, LLDB, you are done. Let's try GDB, see what happens this time. Man, I really thought we were going to get to working on the next thing, but we seem to have... We seem to have gotten stuck. CWD. It's complaining at me that this CWD doesn't exist. I don't think I changed so much that that should be a problem, but I guess... All right, let's try again. Oh, I see what happened. I see what happened. I messed up the... Yeah, cancel. We're good. I typed some bad JSON. Okay. All right. Slowly loading in with the debugger. We'll open this. That should hit our breakpoint. Now we're here, past this cursed line. And so now we're building this dict, which is awesome. And this is actually where we need to look at this get custom node data. So let us step into it. Or at least I think that's where we want to be, right? Because that's where it does all the interesting stuff. Okay, step into debugger. What have you done? This is very frustrating. When your tools misbehave, it is very, very frustrating. Yeah, it just didn't step into, it just continued. All right. I'm going to make one more attempt here where we set the breakpoint on that function, the get custom node data. Oh, we did have a breakpoint in here. This is some other thing I was working on. Okay. I have to take a 1-minute break to run to the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. Ace Gyak says, add node behavior can also be triggered differently by dragging out a thread from the right kind of node connection point, which is a version of a node add being shown in the other person who had it working. Okay, so by dragging out a thread from the right kind of node connection point. Interesting. I should try that as well. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to kill this. It is not working. I will need to figure out what is going on with all of my debuggers at some point here. And we are going to just run it without using the debugger. And we're going to try Ace Gyak's idea. So you are saying that I can grab like a connection and drag it out, and then this appears. Cool. And so I modified the code to put it under textures, but it should actually not go under this textures. Now that I've spent more than a second looking at Patty's screenshot, it should come under an add-ons section. So yeah, that's not working. That's not working either, even in that mode. Okay. While I was away from my computer for a second, I had a flash of a memory. Regarding LLDB. Let me find the right place to look here. LLDB! Where's the path to LLDB? I already did the thing that I had a flash of a memory about. I had a flash of this memory about LLDB crashing until I did this configuration. So that's clearly not what's going on here. I'll just make sure that path exists. It was user bin LLDB server 14, right? Yeah. What the heck? I'm pretty sure I'm compiling with the right flags and stuff too to get proper debugging. Because those are usually the default flags are for dev behavior. Did you switch back from GDB already? No, but I'm going to. GDB has been super unreliable for me with Godot 4. I don't know why, but through the entire Godot 4 like development cycle, GDB just was not working, which is why I switched to LLDB originally. Let's do that. Let me set the breakpoints I want. So what do we got? I definitely want to break here. That's the most important place to break. Here, the only thing I can think is like, I mean, we got stuck on this line, and that was weird. I guess I can check with my eyeballs if the ref is null or not, because that would be interesting. I would also be curious to know if this, for some reason, is having an issue, and that's why we're not getting to this code. But let's just run it again, see what happens. Hopefully something good happens. I like it when good things happen. Yeah, I hope this didn't turn out to be a very boring stream and that we spent the whole time reviewing this one PR, but I mean, I don't know, it's a good representation of what development is like, what working on Godot is like. I mean, it's not all implementing new features, nothing ever goes fast, things never work the first time. All right, so here we are. We theoretically have just created an instance of our extension object, although I don't seem to be able to verify the actual name of it. Haha, okay. Oof. Through a chain of pointers, I can see this is actually our extension. This is Visual Shader node noise. If you can see that in that tiny font. And now that is the instance. That is the object. And then this next line. Let's go. Bam. One more. It should now set this reference. We can see. I was expecting the name to be something different for the actual underlying pointer, but is available, initialized, is available, initialized. And these are pointed to some function pointer. It is tricky to tell if this reference is exactly right. It seems right-ish. Let's see if we can advance to the next breakpoint. Ah, it actually took us. We've crossed the line that it wouldn't let us cross before. Okay, so that means ref is not null. We are now checking this available thing. Let's do that. All right, it appears to be available. Now we need to descend into this function. I don't know why we weren't before, but I'm going to press continue because I have a breakpoint there. And we have gone into the abyss. Why have we gone into the abyss? Why can't I break in this dang function? Let's just cover this thing in breakpoints up here. Loads and loads. Can I put it? No, it won't let me put a breakpoint there, but just let me in. Let me into this function. I mean, let's try it again. We'll try step into again, but last time that just took us nowhere again. Still entertaining. I'm glad it's still entertaining. Hey, Flame Lizard, welcome to the stream. Oh, you just got a normal person with a braid. That's a pretty nice character. Yeah, I am. Thank you for coming. I'm glad also that you've finally been able to join the stream. Okay, so let's jump to the next breakpoint. The next breakpoint. It kicked us out before we even got there. What is happening? This is so frustrating. I just want a debugger that works. Why is it not working? It's a dev build. It's an edit, which should give us all of the debug flags and everything. Let me look at launch again. We are running the editor dev build, the build we want to run. We only have LLDP server 14. Let's see if we had maybe another version laying around that we could try. Hey, yeah, we're actually we're reviewing a So I actually didn't know this until you started. Until Ricardo said, "Hey, Patty, but you're Patty EXE," because if you are, we're reviewing a PR that you had also reviewed, and I'm having some problems with it. And those problems are compounded by the fact that for some reason my debugger is just not working, so I can't step through the code, which is also very frustrating. And the stream's not going on for very much longer, like 5 more minutes until I got to go off to go to a work meeting. Yeah, I have trouble keeping track of everyone's usernames. But yeah, we're trying to review this visual shader GDExtension 1. And it is working in that, like, this test project works and runs, and the shader seems to be working, but I cannot seem to add. Did it suddenly appear? Is it here now? Why did it suddenly work? Oh man, what? What? We have spent at least 30 minutes trying to figure out why that wasn't appearing here. And now it is. All right, well, I guess that's not going in my review because it suddenly started working. What is different? What is happening that suddenly that's working? I wonder if maybe I was like accidentally running the wrong version of Godot. Oh, I think I was. Hang on. Editor.dev.x86. I think this is user error, and I am the user committing the error. Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was. Oh my god. Okay. Jeez. This is another variation of the am I actually testing the thing I think I'm testing problem, which comes up a lot, where like I'm trying something and then it's like I have to quadruple check, did I actually run the thing that I thought I was running? And I usually do that by like adding print statements or something into the thing that I'm working on to be like, is it really the thing that I'm testing? God. Well, what's interesting is that the shader like actually works without the changes. I guess the changes primarily have to do with the editor and getting the node in there in the first place, and then once it's there, I guess it just kind of works. Yeah, we'll get that out of the review, and we'll post this. We will have successfully reviewed one PR on stream. I'll say this is a great addition. This is a great addition. Okay, so I built from start, test on this, test project works, I can see no this here is really working. Also able to see the new node in the would be add node dialog. The add node dialog. There's only my my other comments about some code we may be able to remove. And we'll close with great work. Great addition. I built from source test analytics. The test project worked. I can see the node in the visual shader graph, and the shader appears to be working. I'm also able to see the new node in the add node dialog. There's only my other comments about some code we might sounds more tentative. I like it. We might be able to remove. And I'm a little nervous lately about actually approving things when I'm not like at the GDExtension meeting, because now that I've been added to the GDExtension team on GitHub, when I approve things, it says approved on behalf of the GDExtension team, and that makes me nervous. So I don't know that I'm going to actually mark this as approved. I think I'm just going to submit what I have got, And yeah, let's submit review. Code in Klingon, welcome to the stream. Making it at the last moment. Yeah, that is a classic. It is a classic. PR seems very interesting. Is this new functionality to Godot? Yeah, so this in Godot, the visual shader graph has been a thing for a long time. You always were able to add new visual shader nodes from GDScript and I think also C#, but this is making it possible to add new nodes to the shader graph from GDExtension, so that you could write in C++ or any of the other GDExtension languages like Python or Rust or whatever, which is great. I think as people are able to create more cool add-ons that add new shader nodes, I think that will make visual shaders in Godot just that much more powerful and that much more interesting into the future. Yeah, I probably should have put it as request changes, although like I'm always so unsure about some of these things. The main one, like I really think that this could be, I think that this code could be tightened up. Like we don't need to have these branches because the branches already exist within here. But this one I'm really unsure about. Like I don't know if what I'm saying is a true thing. So I don't know. We'll see what feedback comes back, and then if it all sounds like either my things are just wrong, or if the PR gets updated to address them, then maybe I will be bold and hit the approve button. I'm not sure. Fasolatido, welcome to the stream. Wait, you're saying this is not yet supported in GDScript? It looks like it's supported from the code. At least that was my impression, because the original code had this script server get global get global class list, and goes over these things and adds scripts. It really looks like it's possible from GDScript, just not GDExtension. Unrelated question to this PR, but is virtual function supported in GDExtension? I'm trying to test a virtual function. Okay, so yes-ish. There is a bug presently in Godot CPP related to passing references to virtual functions. So if you are using like Godot master with Godot CPP master, you may have some problems. But bind virtual method. I'm not actually familiar with this macro because I think I call classDB directly. But yeah, in general, it should work. Virtual methods should work. There are other bugs related to virtual classes that are still in progress of being fixed, but the drop-downs are not supported in GDScript. Okay, interesting. It compiles but does not show it, and calling this doesn't trigger. Yeah, I'm not sure. It should work, though. It should work. If you're hitting the bug I was referring to with passing references, it would crash, which it doesn't sound like it's doing. Probably, like, if you could share more of your code, like over on like the GDExtension channel on Rocket Chat, or make an issue for Godot CPP or something, then myself or someone else could look into it deeper. I guess with the time delay, I'm not sure which issue you're referring to, Patty, with what Yuri wanted to get onto, but yeah, there are so many bugs. There's so many bugs. We're working hard to fix them. I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to get like at least all of the compatibility stuff sorted out for Godot 4.1 and make some amount of headway on the GDExtension bugs. But if we can get the compatibility stuff figured out so that we don't ever have to break compatibility again, that would be amazing. But yeah, the world of GDExtension is getting better every day. Yeah. So there's this thing that happens sometimes, which drives me crazy. I'll like read in PR and be like, "This looks great. I'm going to approve it," and then it'll say, "David, like D Snowpick has approved on behalf of the XR team." And I'm like, no, I wasn't approving on behalf of anybody. I was approving on behalf of me." So yeah, now I have to be careful about that with the GDExtension team as well. But yeah, we're gonna have our next meeting in a week. And then we can have a whole bunch of people there sitting together, and we can hit the approve button together, and at least we will be able to share responsibility if we screw it up. Support the drop downs. Okay. Once the short drop downs, cool. So yeah, I gotta get going. I got a work meeting coming up. But thanks everyone for coming to the stream. It was super fun. I hope you guys had fun as well. I hope you have a great weekend. And yeah, if you want to stay in touch, my Discord is over there. Otherwise, I'm on all the Godot places as well. Especially for things like this, Rocket Chat, the Godot Rocket Chat might be the most appropriate place to chat. But yeah, have a great weekend, everyone. Take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.